The Conference Bridge is a utility that allows you to create both scheduled and always-on conference rooms, each with unique pins and permissions for the host, speakers, and guests. Conference bridges can be accessed by any touchtone phone using the phone number and the assigned pin. To create a new conference bridge, log into your control panel and click the icon for Voice Services. Alternatively, you can access voice services from anywhere on the control panel by clicking Services, then clicking Voice Services. Next, click on the Resources and Utilities tab. Click the Create button and select Conference Bridge from the options list. Then click Proceed. Give your conference bridge a name, extension, and assign a phone number from your available pool. Select the payment plan you prefer, and set the primary location for the conference bridge. Click Create Conference Bridge to continue. You will be returned to the resource list where you can see your new conference bridge utility. Click the name of your conference bridge in the resource list to open your conference bridge general settings. On the general settings, you can change the name, extension number, payment plan, or primary location of the conference bridge. You can also reset the login pin used to access the conference bridge configuration from the Voice Services sign-in portal. Phone numbers cannot be changed dynamically. If you need to change the phone number to a conference bridge, you must delete it and create a new conference bridge with the preferred number. To manage conferences in the bridge, click Set up Schedule, Recordings, and Settings. Alternatively, you or your employees can log directly into the conference bridge configurations from the Voice Services login page. The Conference Calling tab is where you can view and manage individual conferences. The Conference Calendar page displays quick information and links to any scheduled conferences configured. The Conference Calling page contains lists for both scheduled conferences and always-on conferences that are configured. Click on Reserve New Scheduled Conference to create a new conference room. Under Conference Settings, select the date, adjust the conference length, and set the start time and time zone of the scheduled conference. Enter a quick conference description to label what the scheduled bridge will be used for. In Code Settings, you can set the host, guest speaker, and guest listener codes. These codes are unique to the scheduled conference you are configuring, so they must be different than other scheduled conferences you've already created. You can adjust how many guest speakers and guest listeners this conference will allow. You can have a maximum of 25 speakers, with one being the host and 24 that are guest speakers. You can allow up to 75 guest listeners to join the conference. Under Guest Communication, you can set if you'd like to allow participants to communicate before the host is logged in, and set an action for the conference when the host leaves the call. Once you're satisfied with your settings, make sure to click Save Changes to create the scheduled conference. When you return to the conference calling lists, you will see the conference you created along with a quick view of the amount of speakers and listeners, the host and guest login codes, and the description label. If you need to make any changes to the scheduled conference, you can click the description label to access the scheduled conference settings again before the conference is live. If you click the Conference Calendar button, you can see the scheduled conference labeled by the time it will take place. If you mouse over this link, you can see the time length, time zone, and description label. You can also click the time link to access the scheduled conference settings again before the conference is live. Click the button for Reserve New Always On Conference. Enter a quick conference description to label what the Always On bridge will be used for. Under Code Settings, you can set the host and guest codes for logging into the bridge. These codes are unique to the Always On conference you're configuring, so they must be different than other bridges you've created. Under Guest Communication, you can set if you'd like to allow participants to communicate before the host is logged in, and set an action for the conference when the host leaves the call. Once you're satisfied with your settings, Make sure to click Save Changes to create the Always On conference. When you return to the conference calling lists, you will see the conference you created along with the host and guest login codes and the description label. If you need to make any changes to this Always On conference, you can click the description to access the Always On conference settings again. The Conference Recording tab will show you a list of any conferences that were recorded in this bridge, along with the date and time of the conference, the duration, and play, download, and forward options. The Call History tab allows you to view the call history of the conference rooms, as well as download a comma-separated values file compatible with most spreadsheet applications.